the kind of champions they would, and that means that BLG very happy to go with the Zeri here for Elk. It's going to be an immediate trade-off though for the Lucian Nami, as we imagine to see now AL just kind of lock that one in. They could technically wait, pick up their jungler here, but it's a bit of a risk because we have been seeing it before that you can take away the Nami, especially with something like a Zeri, and kind of just like, you know, get rid of that combination whatsoever. And unfortunately, Elk, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And I have seen this bot lane a million times over. This is an incredibly fast pick ban so far, though.
Yeah, for sure. And shout out to Jamada, because this is going to be going right into his inbox. I told him if I keep getting more Zeri Lulu, I got to let him know. So he was not happy about that part. He's like, oh, yes, they're going to have so many cool AD carries. No, I was surprised here for BLG as to they're picking up the Annie. I figured maybe they would want to try to grab the Vi and take that away. Anyone's Legends are going to be the ones to ban it away. And now we're going to be focusing hopefully on the jungle picks, because Shun has been picking so many different things. Obviously the Wukong and the Vi are doing a lot of work, but also his Kha'Zix is nothing to mess with. He is putting so much damage down and is a massive threat. We're talking about anybody can carry. Shun is no slouch in that department.
Oh yeah, absolutely agree. And I think that the next few bans coming in here, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Wukong ban from BLG, just to kind of go. Interesting enough that BLG are the ones that ban away the Gwen. Normally we do see the Gwen being banned by the enemy team, just kind of a general ban away from Bin, but Bin kind of recognizing he still thinks the pick is exceptionally strong and doesn't want it to kind of maybe be flexed to the top side, considering the Gragas is a flex between mid and top. And yep, they're going to go with the Jace this time around because they're recognizing, look, they've got an AP top laner that could go for a little bit more of an aggressive mid into the Annie, and the Jace is definitely something that can have a lot of success in that matchup.
Interesting. I love that there's just this unagreed gentleman's agreement that we're all just going to hover Vayne. I know you had mentioned it earlier, but it's beautiful to see that everyone's just going around with it, and they're just saying, hey, we'll do this little funky hover. There's no Cassante yet, another thing that we've been talking about throughout the day, that teams are dropping priority on this champion and moving further to say, let's just pick up our bot lane as soon as possible.
Yeah, get the bot laners, get the junglers locked and loaded. We might see something crazy here. Ooh, this could be an Elisa Renekton vibe, but always have to wait to see where the gotta broke the cardinal sin. Like my brain just goes into so many different ways to kind of look at it, because Shun is definitely someone that can play the Elise, but not to be this time around. The Cassante, as you mentioned, going to be locked and loaded here. We wait to see where that Gragas is going to be going. Probably into the top side there. They know it's going to be there, but BLG thinking about where they want to try and bring this last pick. And the Kha'Zix can have such an incredibly, you know, kind of varied impact on a game. It kind of feel like it's absolutely busted, just assassinating people left, right, and center, or it can feel like it's absolutely useless if you don't find the right opportunities to jump in on that.
Unfortunately, it is Shun, so that means it's definitely going to be useful. If everything goes how they want it to for anyone's Legends,
that's a big
however,
if, that's a massive if.
I don't know. Have you seen Shun? Have you seen Shun pretty recently? He's pretty good.
I have seen him. I'm not doubting Shun. I'm just saying if everything goes right, then yeah, of course he's going to have a great time.
It's a cult take for a reason, you know. If you're winning, you're winning. You're going to stay winning for that part, unless you're our first game of the series for today. But here now, we have finished off our drafts. Our compositions are ready for us. It is going to be the Gnar into Cassante, a bit of a dangerous one for ZDZ, who is coming off of some pretty disappointing performances recently. And Bin is no slouch at wanting to take advantage of other top laners in these matchups, wanting to get right into their face. Does end up getting solo killed a few times, but is always willing to take that trade, teleports back in a lot of the times, and is able to go 1-for-1.
Yeah, it does feel like it's a very aggressive thing that BLG seem to have curated for themselves, and we'll see if AL can kind of rock the boat a little bit. They got the Lucian Nami. They've actually got a great kind of amount of burst available to them between the Gragas, the Lucian, and of course the Wukong. So you're going to have to be respectful here at BLG in the mid-game if you do end up having that Imperial Mandate and Gale Force start here for the Lucian. Could maybe see a Storm Razors as well. We'll have to wait and see has that changed that much on 13-11 in terms of build paths. But the comps are locked and loaded. The teams are ready to go. We are jumping onto the Rift for game one of this best of three. BLG still yet to drop a series, and AL looking to try and rock the boat a little bit as they are struggling just a tad down the bottom end of the standings. We are racing towards the end of the season already. We're only into week 3, but guess what? We only got 5 weeks left of play. We actually have only got quite a few, only a few left in terms of the actual time before we start hitting into playoffs. And
there's 7 weeks.
Yeah,
we're in week 3. This is essentially the hump. We're cresting over the middle part of the season, which is a really big deal. When we were talking about the schedules, we were talking about looking towards playoffs. Every single win starts to matter that much more, and you don't have a lot of time to start iterating, start coming up with different plans, different strategies for yourselves when you're clamoring for wins.
The Yagao is going strong. Good to see now. Shun going with the blue smite. I always like to keep an eye on the Kazakh smites, just because it can be a little bit more varied with the red and the blue, but I do quite like the blue because it gives you that extra bit of movement speed once you have completed all those camps and the stacks have taken away. So get an extra movement speed to maybe jump onto a backline as such can be an exceptionally powerful tool. And again, nothing really too crazy to be kind of saying out of in terms of the summoners or in terms of the runes. I do like that we're seeing a lot more of the Lucians going for the Ignite these days as well, kind of saying, look, I have to be aggressive, I have to look for something, and most AD carries on the opposite side of this will kind of react in kind and pick up something like a barrier and a heal, so don't expect Elk and On to be dropping down anytime soon.
For sure, but this is also, I think, a departure from a lot of the success that we've gotten from BLG. I think most specifically of On's Rakan and his Nautilus. He has been a killer support this split so far, always looking for fog of war angles to try and catch out enemy bot lanes. And it seems like he's playing Battle Lulu at this point. He does not mind. He's like, oh, I don't have to hook? Cool. I can just throw out this Glitter Lance and chunk you for about 1/10 of your HP every couple of seconds. I'm loving how aggressive they're playing, especially when you're thinking about these bot lane matchups. If you're thinking in isolation, zhiqiuyi in this Nami should be playing very aggressive, and Elk just jumping over the wall.
Yeah, even the crowd feeling a little like, all right, we get it. You're feeling confident right now, but let's calm it down just a little bit. And honestly, you can't really blame them right now because, again, undefeated in series, doing exceptionally well to keep that streak going. We are not going to see that ward catch out on the Kazakhs. Yagao is very far pushed forward right now, and without a stun to his name, going to find it very difficult to really go for it. Yeah, immediate flash there from Yagao, recognizing he was in trouble. Has to respect the flash belly bop.
Big respect going over to Xiaohao, who is the primary engine for this team. This guy has a insane KP at 15. He's the first in junglers, only followed by Shun. Shun, who is a part of every single first blood for this team, and right now he's trying to make that possible in enemy jungler.
He gets a lot of damage there on the Xiaohao, but doesn't blow anything else after the fact. I think Shun would have really liked to steal away that blue buff, but was not able to do so. I think that maybe would have given him level 4 and definitely would have made him a little bit more of a threat with that second level in the queue, but not to be. So already we're seeing that the Shun Kazakhs kind of being a bit more aggressive, recognizing, look, I could be far more impactful if I can make these things work. Yagao just don't need to be that far pushed up. He's going low and he is going to go down. A flash away by Xiaohao means that he stays alive. You are getting that isolation damage now from Shun, but not enough to really keep him going. Nice sidestep there from On, but he's probably going to have to use his flash to keep himself alive. Just about does it, and that's the aggressive start to this we thought we would see in this bot lane from the Lucian and the Nami.
Anyone's Legends are taking BLG to task here. We talked about that if Shun's early game plans are set behind, there's an avenue for anybody, for really any team, to take advantage of BLG. But this time, they answered in the mid lane. Xiaohao moving into mid, getting the flash out, and then bottom lane still playing aggressively as ever. That Ignite was used pretty early on, so it's going to come back soon, and that's another window for anyone's Legends to find more and more gold, finding more and more of an advantage here.
Wait to see if AL could do much more with it. I do like that they're just kind of focusing a little bit on Yagao, kind of saying, look, not going to let this Annie just kind of get up to 6 without a care in the world. Definitely throwing a couple more curveballs the way of the Annie, and Yagao's going to have to play a bit more respectfully. On without a flash now on this bot side, also needs to be a bit careful with how and when he looks to try and be aggressive. But for the moment, BLG happy to kind of just let this game go a little bit longer. They've got the Cole picked up here for Elk, so he's going to just try and stack that one up as long as he possibly can. And then top side, they're happy to let this top lane go equal as best they possibly can. So again, it's down to AL to try and make sure they're punishing out a lot of these BLG members without their summoners.
As we get closer to more and more of these fights, we're going to be looking at the influence of the mid lane. We've talked about Annie to death, I think, but for Gragas, it is all about getting into that backline, disrupting Shun from being a real killer onto your AD carries, onto maybe even this Gnar as we get further into the game. And so pinz has an easy job. Survive the laning phase versus Shun and Yagao visiting your lane, and then look to roam. Look for you and Xiaohao to be diving BLG's bot lane.
Shun already kind of coming down here. I will say with the Kazakhs and the isolation damage, you do end up taking objectives very, very quickly. But you need to be very aware of where everyone kind of is right now. Xiaohao hovering off to the side, seeing if he can maybe capitalize on Yagao, who's still without his flash, but not to be so far. Flash from Elk needed because there was already an Ignite gone down. We're seeing a couple of 1v1s, and that's why we're seeing them right now. Great flash from Shun. Keeps him perfectly in position to try and make sure Xiaohao has no escape. And that is a great aggressive start. And already in the bot side, good bubble coming back onto on, so we can't push this any further. And AL, as you said, they're putting a little bit of pressure on the BLG and saying, we're not going to allow you to just have the early game you want.
Yeah, I mean, right now, zhiqiuyi is taking HP away from Elk, forcing early recalls, getting the summoner spells out from him. But with Shun finding that kill in the river, it means that this bot lane is struggling to get this wave under the turret. They do not want this to be stuck in a really bad position, but they have no summoner spells. The heal is starting to come up for Zorah. They are going to need to act very quickly.
They're going to need to respond to this one here. Good bubble, though, straight on the Shun, but he jumps straight back on top of the Lucian, which means that all your damage is gone. And that is Shun popping off in this early game. I doubted him. You quelled me and said, no, it's Shun on Kazakhs. He's going to be just fine, and he is just that.
Look, I'm friends with Lennon. I'm friends with Mazel. He made me a believer. After they won Demacia Cup, I was like, okay, like, you know, Shun's pretty good, but we'll see what he can end up doing. And then he started clapping folks, and I was like, all right, maybe he's the real deal here. As we get a replay of this fight between the junglers and the mid lane for these two teams. I mean, Shun is just putting out so much damage. Shout out to Shun for this flash. Just heads up.
So well played as well. The fact that he gets his auto attack off before he flashes, and then we can look back straight onto bot side because they have a pink ward on the dragon, but they don't have a ward to say that the Yagao and Shun combination is coming. And yeah, without any summoners, you're dead, boys.
They knew that they were here. Like, Xiaohao did just go down earlier this play. So the time in between these two clips is not very long. This was them in a pretty desperate situation. I think the only real escape you can go for is you have to all in on under the turret. Someone's probably going to go down, and you're probably looking for a couple of executes there, but more kills into Shun's back pocket. While it isn't a dragon, it's a Rift Herald, which just means they're going to be looking for more and more gold for some of these carries.
Yep, get themselves a Rift Herald, maybe try and pump that into the Zeri if they so choose. I think Shun is massive right now, to be perfectly honest, with that Umbral Glaive, and ooh, are they going to be able to get this Lucian out? He's actually feeling aggressive, goes forward with the culling, and actually goes right in with the movement to try and kill off this. Yagao with the fadeaway Q. Nicely done there, gets himself a 1v2 kill.
Put some respect on this man's name. I know that there's some people, myself included, that have maybe seen some of Yagao's performances and been like, you could have played that better. But right there, excellent use of the stopwatch to time out when his spells would be coming back up, and gets a great kill in a 1v2, which is not too dissimilar to how we've seen a couple of BLG's plays and how they want to find advantages. Good stun onto zhiqiuyi, and right here, he's waiting for one last spell. He's just too close, burning down to Tibbers. That Q just barely missing onto Yagao.
So close, and again, just great movement, to be perfectly honest, from BLG, recognizing their limits. We're seeing them kind of pushing in so aggressively to kind of say, look, I can take this because I have the stopwatch, because I have the Tibbers available to me. Looks like AL, though, will be able to pick up this dragon pretty much without any kind of contention. That means they're not falling too far behind in that particular objective route, so they're going to be able to try and stop a very early soul. It won't be a chem soul either, which is nice for both of these teams. but having an Umbral Glaive on the Shun makes holding vision this are so difficult now for the side of AL.
This just feels like a way different game than most of them that we've seen from this split so far from BLG, where it is typically Shun moving down into the bot side, getting a first blood for his team and for his bottom lane, and Shun is just leading the gold alongside Yagao, who, again, this typically the way this team plays, you play towards bot side, you get Elk an advantage, you leave him alone. He is more than willing. He has actually the most solo kills out of AD carry, and it's weird to say that AD carries are getting solo kills. You should have seen that Xayah game where he's just taking them to task, just taking multiple kills, and then on moves across the map. But with this Zeri pick, they're staying together, they're sticking together, and it's Shun, or it's Elk and On who are 0-0 right now.
I mean, yeah, they're just having a moment, you know, just kind of vibing for the moment and seeing what they can kind of do. But I mean, when you have Shun getting so far ahead alongside Yagao, there's not really much else you need to do.
Exactly.
Especially with the rest of your team. And this is what I was talking about for BLG. When you have so many players who are just doing so much, there's an explosive cast means that you're going to lose that ultimate now no longer available to you. Bot lane's going to see a little bit of aggression coming in. The lightning crash does come down. Xiaohao coming in though means the tidal wave is good, and the double knock-up does secure the kill there for the Lucian bot side. So Elk not quite able to get close enough to the wall means that he does end up falling down, and AL do get themselves a little bit of a counter kill.
Anyone's Legends, that's a perfect kill to find, because if there's a way for BLG to keep your bot lane in this lane to maybe push out this turret, Shun was looking for somewhere to put down this Rift Herald. There's the pretty big wave that they're going to have to get test. If Anyone's Legends do finish these recalls, that's an angle for them to punish. You can't use it in mid lane right now. Let's take a replay as to what happened here. I mean, perfect Fog of War from the side of Xiaohao, only showing at the last possible minute, and there's no E from this area anymore, so just a kill.
Yep, no E. We just see an all-out coming out on the top side. A flash forward might be forcing ZDZ. Yeah, I was going to say, ZDZ got to flash away. He gets knocked back on that. He definitely comes out with a kill. Good moves coming out now from the side of BLG to make sure that the AL don't get too cocky coming out of this, but definitely feeling the pressure is AL. The Rift Herald gets dropped down into that mid lane, not going to lead into anything else other than just maybe a play or two. See if they get the second one now, but there's plenty of people here to defend, so they don't want to risk it. They don't want to defend. They don't want to push too far and get caught out here.
I don't know if maybe it's me, maybe it's the fact that this is just the LPL, and like you were saying, anybody can take down anybody. AL are keeping this surprisingly competitive. They are still down 2,000 gold, but hands-wise, it's looking pretty good. They're keeping up with the best here.
For the moment, they are definitely keeping themselves in touching distance, about 2,500 gold lead. Definitely nothing exceptional for the moment, but Stormrazor finished up here for the Lucian, makes him a pretty decent threat coming into these mid-game fights. We'll have to wait and see how they want to try and deal with this one here. And I'm just curious to see how AL want to try and transition this, because it's all well and good saying this in the early game, but it is kind of, where do they go after this? How do you stop BLG from just running the map and taking over? Because your engage is very much reliant on Xiaohao getting on the Cyclone. If he doesn't get that, then you're running out of options.
Only time will tell. And guess what? We have a minute and a half, so potentially grounds for BLG and Anyone's Legends to duke it out, and let's see what happens. Seems like they just want to take control of this top side jungle. They know waves coming in. They know that their bot lane's going to be coming. Shun using the ultimate.
They're going to try and get him before he gets back into Mega. Won't be able to do it for the moment, and just kind of wasting a little bit of his health bar to the side as they do wait for this Rift Herald to spawn. He has got Mega, and Xiaohao is here. There's 4 members here, and the longer this Winion Wave takes to move up, yeah, you can see BLG recognizing we can't really go for this. There's going to be too many members on the side of AL to defend. Looks like it's just going to be a red buff steal for the moment. It'll be a small win here for the side of BLG as they look to try and get a little bit of a bigger fish.
All right, but they invested so much vision up towards the top side, dropping the dragon entirely. Maybe being on our side or saying, hey, this Chemtech Dragon, probably not the most important. This Cloud Dragon, definitely not. Let's try to play for Soul at a later point. Anyone's Legends, if they're able to Dragon stack versus BLG, that is a way to supplement a potential win condition. It's a secondary win condition for them where they can grab this Dragon, force a Soul. BLG could be put on the back foot. They still have a gold lead. They're going to grab this Rift Trail for themselves, and Shun should be looking to break open one of these towers.
something we talked about in the last series we saw BLG play, is that they are definitely fans of picking the quote-unquote harder to execute composition. They are, you look at their composition right now, and you're very much relying on Shun being able to find isolate targets, get in on top of the backside, and go for these kind of big plays. And it's a lot easier for the side of AL to try and just throw everything in the kitchen sink at the bot lane and try and see if they can kill off his Zeri. So curious to see how BLG are going to try and make this one work. And again, they don't really feel like they have to go for anything crazy for the moment. They're happy enough with letting this Zeri and this Annie just kind of stack up the damage so that when it does come to those 5v5s, they have got enough to just burst anybody out.
We'll see what ends up happening with Shun's build. I know that we were talking about some of the changes specifically towards Duskblade at the beginning of the show. The max HP damage you're able to get out of that is insane for the execute. And when we're looking across at anyone's legend, what is On doing?
On got the residual red buff.
Oh,
because no one else is taking it, so On
right.
got the residual red buff. It's all part of the plan, you know.
Yes.
It's all part about getting it. Not giving it to the AD carry, give it to the Lulu so she can continually be healthy.
All
so,
I'm saying is Elk is 0-1 and 0. On, however,
is 0-0-2.
Assist.
Yeah, I mean he's definitely the carry in my eyes. It's the Portal combat all the way.
Oh man, you're reminding me some of the other guys back in North America. We got to get away from the Portal combat right now. That's why I've been loving some of these enchanters. Most of them are not willing to fight each other. We're not getting like Thresh versus Nautilus just duking it out. Something like a Braum as well. None of that. None of that. It's just Lulu standing next to her AD carry and saying, "I'm helping." Giving the big ol' helping award. They're gonna travel into mid lane with this Rift Herald here as it was about to expire. Xiaohao coming in. He's spotted on a ward, but it also means that pinz is not. This could be them trying to find something onto Elk, maybe forcing a summoner spell.
They're looking for see if Yagao can go for something now, because the tower is dead. Yeah, Yagao on a bit of a flank, but they can jump onto the Zeri, who has to flash away, already has the barrier popped as well. They're seeing if they can maybe burn down pinz, and they will be able to get him. The Lucian is taken so low, but look at this damage that ZDZ is putting in. Bin forces the flash away from the Gnar, but it ends up being a 3-for-1 trade. Nearly seeing Shun get one more. He's so close to going down, but he can't really go for it. He's looking for the resets. He gets the invulnerability. That's why he went in for it, because he knew he could get the resets off of this, and now ZDZ is down. This is a huge play from Shun, taking that Duskblade and making absolute massive work of it.
You are untargetable when you grab those kills, when you get that takedown, and Shun puts it to excellent work. A masterclass here when it comes to playing Kha'Zix, and in the jungle here, there is no other player that could possibly make this happen right now. I mean, Shun is just popping off. He has been the most dominant member. He's one of the best junglers in the league. His stats reflect this. He's the best when it comes to goal difference at 15. He is not skipping any of his camps as well. Has a CS lead. What else can you say about this guy other than just fantastic play all around?
I mean, this goes so well for AL as well. Great tidal wave that stops the CC coming out from Yagao. He's got no more stacks. They get onto Elk, and it looks like AL have just gotten themselves a perfect fight.
Like, right here, I will say, AL played the first half of this fight incredibly well, like we were talking about. Just setting up for your AD carry, zhiqiuyi got so much damage, but is Shun saying, I am not getting out of this fight without a few kills, without putting my team on my back and getting us into a better position than we started here.
I mean, just such a great move there from Shun to recognize I've got the in-target ability. They won't be able to catch me out, and really, really well done there by Shun on this Kha'Zix, who's just kind of going from strength to strength. And we talked about how a Kha'Zix can have such a huge impact if he's given those resets, if he's given time to catch out people isolated and get those kind of, you know, resetting on the leap strike. So wait to see now where they'll go with 4-0-2. There is a dragon spawning in a minute's time, and it's an Infernal Rift. AL not feeling too bad, but 4,000 gold down. Definitely going to have to be a little bit more careful. I'm going to be honest with you. I need Yagao to maybe step up a little bit as well. That stun should have been a lot more impactful in that last fight. Without the flash now, going to see if he can maybe do a little bit better.
Well, do I have news for you? He is playing Annie, so there's definitely going to be a tipper stun sometime this game, and it'll probably be a little bit more impactful for that. So And hey, look, even if he is not going to be putting in that work, you've still got Shun, you still got Bin right now, who is steadily getting further and further ahead right now, just slowly eking an experience lead, and he will be able to move down. K'Sante, I think, is one of those perfect champions for him. Just feels more like the embodiment of Bin, when you give him the ability to both play a tank in the laning phase, as well as then the ultimate popping off and getting so much kill threat onto whoever he wants.
Well, vision control belongs to BLG for the moment. And speaking of kill threat, ZDZ looking for a bit of a kill down to Bin. That's going to be a solo bolo if he's not careful. The boomerang to slow him down. We just hyped him up. And now BLG lose their top laner with a TP available to him, though, in a couple of seconds. He's down for 40, though. So this is a 4v4 for the moment. ZDZ not got a TP for the moment, so it's still okay for BLG to fight this.
Shun is spotted. Doesn't have doesn't have the Umbral Glaive to really show the ward there. Xiaohao
they are
going in
turning this fight around. Yeah, 2 people went over the wall, but nobody else followed. So now you got a separated fight. AL, they had it. They knew where everybody was, and they just don't do anything about it. They just kind of separate and find themselves in a horrible position. We will see that the Lucian will be mowed down eventually by Elk, who will eventually pick up that kill. Kha'Zix died, so I'm not quite sure what happened there. That means we're not going to see the dragon taken for the moment, but Elk going over the wall, looking for a little bit more damage. pinz not going to get taken out just this time round, though. Gets himself away with the belly bop, but this is getting into a very scrappy affair. It is still BLG coming out on top, but it's not pretty right now.
They're trading kills, and on the top side, ZDZ did take that turret there. So at least going for a trade somewhat, as BLG are going to grab this dragon.
You don't have a jungler.
Yeah.
Don't have a jungler. They want to contest Yagao now. Trying to see if he can play bodyguard away from Xiaohao, because they know they don't have a smite. You cannot take this. Don't bring it too low, because he's just going to jump himself in. That's an easy steal. Xiaohao is going to be able to take it. BLG, what are you doing? You know, never in a million years can you ever go for that fight. And now AL gifted a soul point.
BLG taking maybe a few notes out of Ultra Prime with some sleepy play here. Very sloppy, especially without Shun there to try to lead this. Let's get a replay of that solo kill up in top side. Tanks a turret, and after that, not able to land any Qs, which we talked, I made this joke earlier, but like, every single K'Sante matchup is winnable if you can land Q3. If you can't, then good luck trying. There's no jungler here as they start off this fight. I mean, this was a good start, but the end of this play, the result of this play, is incredibly sloppy from BLG, and we'll see how they kind of bounce back, as AL are just taking them to task, keeping them responsible.
I mean, I just want to know how Shun dies. That's my question right now, because they're all so low. He's trying to cut off the wave. Yeah, belly bop. Just flash belly bop and gets caught out. That's a little bit unfortunate. Did not respect the summoners there of pinz. And still only a 3,000 gold lead. ZDZ, on the other hand, is getting mighty big, getting that solo kill, getting the top lane as well. He is looking pretty good for the moment. He's been just trying to make sure he gets as much as he possibly can. Nice Mega Gnar ultimate just to disengage, but this is not a... Again, this is why I called it out right at the start of this game. There's 2 sides of BLG. There's the BLG that looks like incredible, the team that went all the way to the MSI Finals, knocking out both LCK representatives. And then there's this BLG, which just takes really weird fights around Dragon without a jungler. It just doesn't really make sense to me. So we'll wait and see if AL can continue to punish on some lackluster decision-making coming out from BLG, or if BLG can just continue to dominate on this one here. Here's the all-out, not going to land the Q3 like you talked about. Bin looking for it. Mega Gnar coming!
No!
And Mega Gnar is going to be enough! What a massive turn of events in this top lane matchup. 2 solo kills, and Bin on 0 and 2. But immediately, we're going to go for a 4v4 now in this bottom side, or sorry, in the mid lane, as you got Elk trying to see if he can take down pinz. Does not have flash, and will be going down. That's a 2-for-1 trade. Shun trying to see if he can catch out this Lucian. Should be able to jump on him in a couple of seconds and get the Q down. Nicely done there by BLG. It doesn't matter if Bin is inting his ass off. They've got the team fights in the 4v4.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons, you know, when we're saying that they are not infallible, it is Bin that is typically the point of pressure for them that other teams can take advantage of. I was going to say, if you have a very strong top jungle, you can look to try to maybe assuage that point, try to get into there, but BLG, they're going to wait for Yagao to spawn, and they're going to take this Baron. Xiaohao cannot get here in time to try to go for a smite steal. And it took one fight for BLG, one fight that still looked a little bit sloppy, and they're gonna try to keep you honest. They want you to stay. Hey, look, if we're gonna make a mistake, we are taking this Baron.
I mean, look, as much as I said that Bin is inting, it is.
Oh no, he is.
He is inting, but it's ZDZ definitely playing that one much cooler, and just knowing that he has the damage available to him. So really nicely done there. And Shun just kind of puts himself in a really smart position to say, I'm on a flank with an instant flash Tibbers. The burst is insane.
Yagao heard you talking smack. He heard you say, hey, Yagao, step it up. And he's like, all right, man. You got it.
All right, if you know what? If Oisin says I got to do it, I got to do it.
Exactly. Exactly. If it was that BP guy, probably not. Probably wouldn't have done it. But if it's for Sheen, you're going to do it. You're going to get it.
He'll get it every time. Every time for Oisin, never for BP. But coming back in now, we do have full Barons on the side of BLG. They're going to start taking up some of these standing gold that's available to them. When you have the lethality as well for Shun, he will start to auto those turrets down pretty damn effectively. He even has the Edge of Night to try and stop any kind of big change of burst down going down on top of him. So having that extra little bit of safety to him is definitely a good sign. Almost level 16. TP coming down onto the bot side. Bin no longer wants your 1v1. Bin wants this to be a 2v1. Never mind, he wants it to be a 4v1. Everybody is jumping down to ZDZ. You bullied our top laner for too long, ZDZ. He's still not dead yet, but he will eventually fall down. You gotta feel like it will happen, and eventually it does. Finally, ZDZ goes down. He's dead for a minute and 20 seconds till this Baron spawns. Or sorry, not Baron, Dragon spawns. We'll see if they're able to kind of do something. Bin is just here to maybe cover a little bit of damage. He's trying to see if he can maybe go all out. He will take away Haichao from that Dragon, but Bin in a 1v4, I mean, you saw what happened to ZDZ in the 1v4. Why did you think you were any different?
Bin giveth and Bin taketh away. Okay,
he's just taken away today.
Yeah, well, yeah, that is part of the ultimate. That is part of the all-out. Yeah, pretty big mistake there coming out from Bin. While they do grab the Dragon and stop the soul from anyone's Legends, they grab 2 turrets. A huge win for them, in my opinion. Hey, we may have not gotten the soul. Not a big deal, as they invested so many resources to play towards this bot side. They tried to pivot into making too many plays, and Bilibili, I think, playing too many different angles. Too many spoons, guys. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, look, it happens. It is definitely something that Bin is... you become accustomed to very quickly here in the LPL, that some of your best players just play differently sometimes on different days. You know, people like Ruler and Knight, they have some not so amazing games happen, and it's just the way it is. There's nothing else I can really pull for it. I will say, however, you have got the Rabadons now finished up on Yagao. There is still very little magic resistance on anybody at all, and literally just a Hex Drinker on Xiaohao, and that's it. So you are looking at, if he's able to get on top of someone like the Lucian, or even honestly onto ZDZ at this point as well, he will be blown up. There will be nothing else to it, and that is a very, very scary prospect when you add in a Kha'Zix that can burst you out as well.
Exactly. And Elk is not getting any weaker at this point. Already has his 3-item core with that Titanic Hydra finished here. And he's even tankier, so when we're talking about how much burst potential AL have, they have to get through 3,000 HP enemy AD carry, which is just ridiculous to say, as ZDZ has a flank here.
ZDZ does have a flank. Bin is already used his flash, hasn't gone all out just yet, but still fairly tanky. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Oh, not quite able to land the belly bot, but that one works! Oh. Holy moly, mother of God! That was an insane amount of burst damages. Yagao is just absolutely smurfing with this Annie pick. If it's not the Nico, it's the Annie. My God, what happened?
He is just dropping, look at him, not a care in the world. He's like, yeah, I'm that guy, okay? I'm Yagao, okay? I'm Yagao. Put some respect on the name right now. He is one-shotting anybody's Legends bot lane. And they're just going to push onto this inhibitor here. Another turret down. More and more of this damage. I mean, the mid-jungle for BLG are running this game. They do not care. They're like, oh, Elkanon, you didn't get ahead? That's cool. Bin, keep doing your thing, man. Whatever you're doing up top lane does not matter in this matchup. We are here to play.
I mean, what? And look, obviously, I know it's an Annie. They burst you out, they drop the tippers, but it's just the sheer damage that comes out that is insane. I want to see it. Hopefully, we will. I want to see just how much damage comes out of this Annie in the replay and how quick it is, because it's literally the two sides of the same coin. pinz goes in with his flash damage, doesn't get anything, and then Yagao gets his, and it's a completely different fight.
I just want to watch this. Shout out to ZDZ, who's putting out a lot of damage and a lot of threat. He is staying in Fog 4. They don't know he's here. So they walk in too late. Flash.
Deleted.
Full
Incinerated,
HP.
if you will. Just, yeah. That is why you can blind the Annie. It's why you got to pick it. It's why it's such a pick ban on red side. I'm sorry, it's just how it is sometimes.
How old this champion is? Like,
yeah,
point and click stun. I thought we got rid of those.
OG champion Shun looking for a bit of a movement here. We'll be able to kind of get huge damage there onto Zorah. While this all happening, you got Nar pushing in the bot side, but you're losing the 4v4. This is the thing. In the 1v1, yeah, you're winning. Congratulations. I'm delighted for you on the Nar, but that's not where this game is won or lost. The game is won or lost in the team fights.
Right now, though, it's going to be decided with this Baron for BLG. They're going to get it again for themselves, and the Dragon spawning in a minute. They can very easily just walk over and take this objective yet again. Anyone's Legends are going to have to be ready to fight right now.
TP on the top side, that's
the force of nature.
Yeah, he's coming in there. He's going to try and see if he can maybe get something going here, but...
he does it again! It's a magic trick!
Interactive gameplay as Yagao now finds ZDZ, who thought he was in a little bit of a fun position, but yeah, that is going to be the Baron for sure.
It's a magic trick at this point. They need a Magician Annie skin where it just poof, disappears. Oh, your 80 carry's gone. This is I definitely feel for zhiqiuyi, because as a fellow marksman player, there are many a champion in this game that make you disappear the second you make a mistake. And Annie is one of them, especially when you have a point-and-click stun. Not much play you can have there, until maybe some picks up on Mikhail's if you're going to go for the QSS. So, BLG, just steamrolling on ahead. The Dragon's going to spawn here. Shun should be able to solo this out while BLG use their Baron to press these waves and shove AL right back into the locker that is their own base.
Yeah, and look, you know, everyone's been complaining for a while. The ADCs are busted. They are, you know, broken beyond belief. There's no counterplay to a lot of what they do.
Missed?
He just missed. It doesn't matter because you've got a Tibbers who's very angry. And he's going to be able to slap you down.
There's Alk.
This is Alk going in, getting everything done for the team. It took a while. It's 32 minutes, a hell of a lot longer than we normally see from BLG, but it looks like they're going to be able to end this game with a W and potentially continue on their winning streak, as they're going to be able to finish off this one and get themselves to a 1-0 advantage. Consolation prize, ZDZ is building up the Mega Gnar, but like you were saying, this should just be the end of the game here. A flash coming in from pinz. Yeah, oh, nice Mega Gnar ultimate. Does kill off on but it's flashy. But it doesn't mean anything, unfortunately, as Shun is hop, skip, and a jump to victory. Ends up being 22-11. And that is a 33-minute win here for the side of BLG. Look, it was not a very clean game, but at the end of it all, it's a win's a win's a win. Bin right now is the ultimate top laner's dilemma, where you just look, you press tab. Yeah, I hope this game. I definitely did stuff this game. It doesn't matter. It does not matter what happened in the top lane. Congratulations to BLG for winning this first game. Should be looking to close out the series. Not unexpected, the result, but I think the journey we took to get there was definitely not what we were looking towards when we saw this matchup. The first place team going up against Anyone's Legends, who are at the bottom of the standings, and Anyone's Legends were giving them a run for their money, at least at every bit. Yes, BLG were keeping up on the gold, but every single fight it felt like they were trading even for Anyone's Legends. Yeah, I mean, it did feel like it just was AL were trying their absolute hardest, going pound for pound, punch for punch even, but it just got to a point where the Annie is going to blow up that Lucian Nami. It's why we saw the Annie priority coming out for BLG. They wanted this so bad. And again, you know, it comes out of it. You get the Zeri first, then they go and pick their AD carry because they think, look, the Lucian Nami is so exceptionally powerful into the Zeri, which it is. but then you leave open the Annie. And it does feel like Yagao is becoming one of those names where I'm kind of saying, like, look, you know, yes, we are in a league with Rookie, Xiaohao, Knight, you know, there's so many massive names, Scout, you know, Doomby's not even playing, and he's still one of those names you kind of bring in with the LPL. And Yagao, in my opinion, does need to start being put in alongside those players. He's won multiple different titles. He's gone to several different semifinals and finals at international events, and he's been proving time and time again that his game sense, it may not be the flashiest in the world, but he gets the job done.
When Yagao is in his pocket, when it is his meta and it's champions that are super well suited for his kind of playstyle, Yagao just looks like the best mid laner in the league sometimes. He just pops off with these kinds of performances, and these are reminders for people, right? Like, there's going to be droughts. Every player is going to have a period of time where maybe they're not the best, maybe they're not having, maybe it's just not their meta, right? But Yagao has times like these where he's playing the Annie. It's not mechanically the flashiest, like we were saying, but it doesn't matter. Who cares about mechanical excellence when you can literally just win? It doesn't, like, he did the most damage in this game by a huge margin. Shun was the big carry for this game in terms of the flashy Kha'Zix plays, but it's Yagao who's coming in, deleting the bot lane time and time again, and clearing a way for BLG to run away with this game.
Yeah, I mean, it just, I mean, look at the damage. That's just all you got to do. 32% when you have a Kha'Zix and a Zeri in your team is a hell of a lot. And honestly, it kind of tells the same on the other side. 31% of your team's damage coming out from ZDZ, who, try as he might, was not able to kind of bring this one back for the side of AL. Even with the solo kills that he was able to kind of keep Bin out of the equation. And again, most people would say you're keeping Bin out of the equation. You're doing exceptionally well for your team. It doesn't make a difference if the rest of your team is just falling to the wayside. And Yagao, whatever you want to call them, really coming out on top here for this first game.
Ooh. It was an insane performance. Again, I do want to give flowers where they are given for anyone's legends. I'm really excited to see what this team kind of looks like as we get into the second game. They have a lot to still work on, obviously, but they were keeping up pace with BLG. And if we're looking at BLG, I'm kind of still worried about topside, right? Like, Bin, while he is amazing, we have moved away from a lot of those fighters, the Jaxes of the world, the Camille, the Fioras, and Gwen was banned as well, right? It was one of those things that they were taken away. So if they are looking for an advantage, maybe we start to see Xiaohao move up there alongside him.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels like this is going to be a team that can do well when they get all the ducks in a row. Unfortunately, they kind of all scattered into the pond a little bit for AL. But we are going to send it to a quick break, and when we return, we'll have picks and bans for